come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Oh, flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let City relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou, and tonight I'm here with
Eno Safo.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
These funds cover essential operational costs such as fuel supplies for armored personnel carriers and other operational vehicles, the provision and delivery of food rations for personnel of the task force, special intelligence operations and other civil military activities aimed at building societal cohesion and stability in Bawku.
Ministry for National Security defends 6 million monthly budgetary allocation for dealing with the Bawku conflict. We'll hear from the Member of Parliament who first raised the issue. Also coming up, striking teachers of colleges of education demand the shutting down of their schools following the failure by government to solve their issues. Meanwhile, the principals of the schools are asking for the strike to end. And later on Eyewitness News, we'll take you to the NDC side in Parliament. They are counter-accusing the governing party of engaging in the causing of financial loss to the state on ambulances. It says that the 307 ambulances that were imported into the country by the Akufo-Addo administration had the prices inflated. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Bank of Ghana sanctions 47 individuals and 245 business entities for issuing dud checks.
This is 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We are also around the globe on citynewsroom.com. The show is live across a number of affiliate stations and also across the globe on citynewsroom.com. So over the weekend, former President Mahama was out and about campaigning in the Upper East region. One of the key issues that came up has to do with an amount of money that was spent on keeping the peace in Bawku. In fact, the information that emerged from the Member of Parliament for Bawku Central, an NDC Member of Parliament, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, suggested that some 6 million cedis was spent every month on keeping the peace in Bawku. In fact, this was reiterated by the NDC flag bearer, John Mahama. Today, the Ministry of National Security issued a statement. I'm just going to read that for you. And it says that the press statement by the Ministry of National Security on allegations by Honorable Mahama Ayariga. The Ministry of National Security has noted a recent statement by Honorable Mahama Ayariga, NDC Member of Parliament for Bawku Central constituency, challenging the justification for the ministry's monthly budget of 6 million cedis allocated to address the Bawku conflict. The ministry wishes to emphasize that it is responsible for designing and coordinating security operations nationwide in collaboration with relevant security and intelligence agencies. In response to the sharp and troubling escalation of the inter-ethnic tensions in Bawku in 2021, which led to the tragic loss of hundreds of innocent lives, including women and children, displacement of people, and disruption of economic activities, the ministry, as a matter of agency, established a special operation in February 2023 to maintain peace in Bawku and its environs, as well as other areas in the northeast region affected and impacted by the conflict. A budget allocation of 6 million cedis per month was made to support these operations, which included a special task force. These funds cover essential operational costs such as fuel supplies for armored personnel carriers and operational costs such as fuel supplies for armored personnel carriers and other operational vehicles, the provision and delivery of food rations for personnel of the task force, special intelligence operations, and other civil military activities aimed at building societal cohesion and stability in Bawku. In line with the coordination and operational strategy for the management of the conflict, the ministry, upon receipt of the funds, distributes same to the participating security and intelligence agencies to support their logistics and personnel involved in the operations, with the core mandate of protecting the lives and livelihoods of all citizens in the area. We must emphasize further that these funds are part of the general operational budget for the ministry. The ministry is, however, compelled to allocate these amounts to maintain peace in Bawku when they could have been invested instead in enhancing Ghana's capability to build resilience against the dire security threats such as terrorism and violent extremism spreading across the West African region. It is therefore unfortunate and mistaken for Honorable Ayariga, who, given his position as a member of parliament, ought to be better informed about the complexities and necessities of national security operations, to politicize same. Such statements have the potential to disinform and misinform the citizens of Bawku, reignite tensions, and endanger the lives of the personnel of state security and intelligence agencies involved in the operations, and should therefore not be encouraged by well-meaning Ghanaians. The Ministry of National Security remains committed to its mandate and duty to sustain its operations in Bawku to safeguard the overall peace and stability of the country. So that's a statement from the Ministry of National Security. Now, this issue came to the public domain after the Member of Parliament made the claim. He's actually joined us on the line. Honorable Bawku Central MP Mahama, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you. Good evening, Morusanda. Good evening to your listeners.
Good evening to you too. I would like us to start off from the last but two paragraphs from the ministry statement. It says, "It is therefore unfortunate and mistaken for Honorable Ayariga, who, given his position as a member of parliament, ought to be better informed about the complexities and necessities of national security operations, to politicize same. The ministry believes you are politicizing issues of national security, which is unnecessary, and you, of all persons, having been a cabinet minister, that's my own addition, should not be engaging in this kind of commentary." How do you respond?
Well, I will not descend into that kind of language with the Minister for National Security. I will stick to the facts. I'm more mature than that, and I think Ghanaians know me very well and my level of maturity. At the same time, Ghanaians also know me that I cannot stand, corruption. I cannot stand fraud. I cannot stand dishonesty. And I cannot stand the looting of public funds wantonly and recklessly, the way that we have come to experience under the NPP administration and their ministers and functionaries. The minister has admitted that so far this ministry has taken 126 million Ghana cedis. That's what he has just admitted in his statement. Because he tells you that since February 2023, he started receiving 18 million quota. So if you add that and this year's allocations, means that the man has been, taking that kind of money. So let us, look at the things that he says he does with the money. The personnel that are there, I can tell you that the special task force, they are not even up to 200, or they are just about 200. I know how much they are paid, their rations, the cost, the budget for the rations, because I also know, for instance, the police service, the police personnel who are there, their ration is 50 Ghana cedis a day for the police. The military, they don't give them the cash. They cook for them. So assuming that the police service and even the military, you put all of them together, they are in the range of 300, 400,000. Just multiply 50 Ghana cedis by 400 a day and look at the figure involved relative to 6 million Ghana cedis. 6 million Ghana cedis. So you don't spend anywhere close to, that kind of money on the police and the military rations per day. Now let's talk about fuel. How many vehicles? The military detachment is right in front of my house. In fact, I gave them the land on which it has been built. So I know how many vehicles are parked there. I know how many personnel are there. And I can assure you that there's no way in terms of fuel consumption that those trucks there, the equipment there, I don't think they even have up to 10 pickups. Half of the armor cars, they are not even up to 5 of them. And the armor cars are not always moving. Unless there's an issue, the armor cars are not moved. It's only at night that the police, the pickups go around with the personnel on patrols. So you're telling me that one is 6 million Ghana cedis every month. How is that possible? You're talking about personnel. All the personnel are already existing members of the security agencies. So they are paid their monthly salaries and all the facilities that they are entitled to. So account for me how 6 million can fairly be used to deal with the Bawku situation per month. And today you are admitting that you are spending 126 million Ghana cedis so far. So far, that's how much you are spending. And when I bring the issue up, you say, oh, I'm misinforming the public. And yet you, as Minister for National Security, you have never invited me to a meeting and briefed me on what you are doing in Bawku in relation to the conflict. You've never invited me. You've never told me that you are collecting, 18 million every quarter to deal with the situation in Bawku. Women asked the current regional police commander of Upper East, who was in charge of the police task force in Bawku. When they arrived in Bawku, they had no place to sleep. The Bawku Naba called me and commandeered my property, which has about 70 rooms, and gave it to the police. And later on, the police started even making a monthly payment to deal with some of the expenses of their workers' security and etc. And so they were paying 10,000 a month. So I know what went into the conditions, the facilities that the police needed to do their work. You've never briefed me on anything about the facilities that are available for dealing with the situation on the ground, so that I can even give you guidance. Look, soldiers, if you recall, soldiers shot a lot of boys and killed them in Bawku, and I brought it up. On your radio station, it was discussed. I even took them to Shraj. They invited me to meetings, the Northern Commander. And I said, look, you don't need to be chasing these boys and shooting at them. All you need is a drone that is flying up there, and as they run, you are able to track them, and then you know where they have thrown the weapons away, so you can go and pick the weapons, and we can deprive them of the means of violence. They don't even have a single drone, not even the types that Citi FM you have, and then you use to cover functions and events. They don't even have one. And I said, look, get a simple drone. It will help you track everybody. And when people know that you are using things like drones and you can track them, they will even be afraid to engage in combat, because they know that you don't need to physically chase them to see where they have gone to hide. You will track them from above, and wherever they run to, you will ultimately get there. So it will serve as a deterrent. As we speak, they don't still have a single drone to even help them to monitor from above, to serve as a deterrent. The situation in Bawku has calmed down, not because of the military or the police. The situation in Bawku has calmed down because the people have realized that there is no need to continue doing what they are doing. Both sides. So they have stopped. It's not because the police or the government has done anything special in order to get people to stop. The basic things that they needed to do, I told them from the beginning. I said, a lot of the trouble is being instigated on the airwaves. From the very beginning, even before the violence started, I cautioned this same national security minister that, look, just shut down the radio stations in Bawku, and it will reduce what is happening. Because I'm a member of parliament. I listen to radio, and I see how one side is insulting the other on radio, the other side is insulting the other on radio, and how people who are listening in their homes are getting angry, and how they are mobilizing to attack one another. I said, shut the radio stations down. He told me that a former information minister could not be advising him to shut down radio stations. Recently, the regional security, the municipal security gave him the same advice that you need to shut down these radio stations. And when he shut down the radio stations, up to date, we haven't heard a gunshot in Bawku. I said, people are insulting each other on social media, instigating others on social media. Please go on social media and track those people and find a way of stopping them from using social media to attack one another. Since he started, all that has stopped. So people are not being unnecessarily provoked, and so they really are not that angry to go out there and be fighting one another. In addition to the fact that, naturally, our people just felt that there's no need to continue. There are other issues that need to be done. It's failed to do those ones. I won't go on air on those matters. It is not the soldiers that are sitting there. It's not the police that are sitting there. And yet, you are spending 6 million every month. And I can assure you that the agencies he says that he's giving the monies to, we don't know them. The personnel on the ground, I don't believe that they are getting anything beyond their rations of 50 Ghana cedis, 100 Ghana cedis. And there are not more than 300, 400 of them. And I don't see how you can use 6 million to pay rations of 50 Ghana cedis, 100 Ghana cedis a day for soldiers and police who are not more than 400. So I've listened to him. I've read the statement. I'm not being political. I'm being a patriotic citizen. I'm not a spectator. I have seen that 6 million is being squandered every month in the name of a conflict in my constituency. And I'm concerned because I would prefer.
The question would be, Honorable. The question would be that, okay, so you've announced the figure in the public domain. So your point is that the money is being misappropriated or diverted. You are suggesting that the work on the ground does not merit or tally with 6 million. That's what you're suggesting monthly.
My point is that the work on the ground has nothing to do with 6 million every month. I am there. It's my constituency. I know what is happening.
But he said in the statement, the Minister for National Security, that he shares this money with other agencies. So he says, and I believe that it would include the armed forces, the police, and maybe all the other agencies of security. Have you considered that explanation?
I'm saying that, and that is why I made the point, that I know how many vehicles the police have on the ground. I know how many armor cars they have on the ground. I know how many armor cars the military have. The military barracks is right at my gate. I actually share a wall with them. So I know, because I pass by and I see what is in their compound. I'm saying that there's no way that whatever it is he's sharing with them, there's no way that they can consume even 1 million. Even 1 million. Is that okay? For their logistical operation every month. Not even 1 million. That, take it from me if you want, let's go and do an audit on the ground. If I challenge him, let's go and do an audit on the ground in terms of what facilities are there and run them. And I'm saying that even the armor cars, they don't move all the time. It is when there is an issue that you see the armor cars moving. As for the pickups, I can say on authority that the pickups they have on the ground do not exceed 10 or 15. I see them every day. They are parked in front of my house. So both the military and the police on the ground. And I'm saying that their rations, for the police, I know how much they get as their rations. They get 50 a day. For them, it is given to them cash. and they are not more than 200. The soldiers.
Did you say 50
they don't
cities a
give-
day
50 cities a day.
per,
That's the police and access.
per policeman in
Police
Bawku?
officer, yes. For rations. All the military, they don't give cash. They cook for them. So, of course, I can't tell how much food will cost, but there are just about 200 of them. So, imagine feeding 200 people a day. Multiply by 30 days a month. And I'm saying that even me, I make sacrifices to support them. My house, which has 17 rooms, a guest house, I gave it to the what do they call it? To the police. And they were giving only 10,000 Ghana cedis for the maintenance of the facility. For several months now, they haven't been paid. For several months. More than 8 months, they haven't paid. I haven't even asked them. Because all of us are contributing to make it easy for them to stay on the ground and help. And to be sacrificing like this and to hear that 6 million Ghana cedis is being taken by somebody every month to deal with the same problem. The youth are walking around unemployed. Farmers don't have fertilizer to farm. Look, electrification. I'm the one finding money to buy poles to support the Ministry of Energy to extend rural electrification to a lot of the villages so that we can even put light. I have extended electricity to more than 8 communities, and I'm just begging the government to bring meters to install so that we can light the place for security. I sent electricity bulbs to the border areas to light them. All that. If these street lights, if this 6 million was deployed into fixing the roads in Bawku, extending electricity to all the communities and lighting the place properly so that, it will be difficult for anybody to engage in armed conflict, buying drones and etc., really making, the situation difficult for anybody to even carry out such nefarious activities. Look, the soldiers, they need camps at certain locations because they have been positioned, to serve as buffers between where the Kusasis live and where the Mampusis live. Accommodation to house them, they don't have. Recently, at some of the locations, when they were going to assign soldiers, I had to find money to give to the communities to try and then fix, some buildings so that the soldiers could stay there and then protect both sides and prevent each side from crossing to the other side. Where was the 6 million Ghana cedis? Where was, ask the communities. I can give you the names. So I'm saying that I'm on the ground. I know the enormity of the challenge on the ground. I know, yes, money will be spent, but not 6 million Ghana cedis every month.
Very well.
And then you say that I should know better.
The ministry...
Because I know better that I am able to tell that I got the information that you are spending 6 million.
The ministry says
that you are spending 6 million every month.
The ministry says, and it's good you mentioned that the youth are unemployed. The ministry says what you have done could reignite tensions and endanger the lives of the personnel of state security and intelligence agencies involved in the operations. To wit, you are simply telling the people of Bawku that these people in uniform you see around have 6 million in their pocket, and so your poverty could be blamed on them. Have you considered that aspect of the conversation?
I didn't say the soldiers. I said the Minister for National Security.
Yeah, but you said it's spent on Bawku, which means that the money has been given to the soldiers and police.
Listen, the youth, and I'm also telling you already, I'm saying that I don't believe that the money was given to the police.
So for you, the point is that, okay, the budget has, there's a budget, but it didn't trickle down to Bawku. The money didn't get to Bawku, that's all.
I am saying that the money was received by the Minister for National Security. He claims he's given it to other agencies. I don't know which agencies are involved. I cannot imagine which other agencies are involved. The agencies that we see on the ground are the police, they are the soldiers, they are DNI. Is that okay? And I'm saying that those soldiers are paid their regular monthly salaries from their various ministries. DNI people are paid from their budget. Soldiers are paid from the Ministry of Defense, Ghana Armed Forces salary budget, and the police are paid through the Ghana Police Service, Ministry of Interior budget. You haven't said that the money is used to pay the salary. You yourself have admitted that the money is an operational account money. And I'm saying that as for the operational issues, the only 2 issues that you have mentioned are 1, fuel, 2, rations. Is that okay? And then 3, coordination. So I can give you a rough estimate of what you could be spending on rationing. And I'm saying that you cannot spend more than 600, 700,000 Ghana cedis at the end of the month on the rations for all the personnel on the ground, both soldiers and police and whoever are on the ground, because I know their numbers and I have a sense of how much is given as rations. And I'm saying that when you say fuel, I know the number of machines that are on the ground, and I know fuel prices. And I'm saying that it is inconceivable that you will spend more than 300,000 Ghana cedis a month on fuel in Bawku. And I'm saying that if you talk about operational monies, you cannot be spending more than 1 million. I cannot understand how you are collecting 6 million. And I'm not saying that the money goes to the soldiers. I'm saying that the Ministry of National Security is taking the money. I didn't say the soldiers in Bawku.
Very well.
I didn't say the police. And I'm saying that even I am helping the police.
Very well. Last issue. Do monies like this get audited? Is there a way this money can be audited either by Parliament or the Auditor General, or based on the law, the Ministry for National Security's budget goes without question?
Well, that is why they say, oh, we are dealing with operational issues. Anytime that they use the word operational issues, it is because they don't want to account to anybody. But the fact that you don't want to account to anybody doesn't mean that me, Member of Parliament for Bawku Central, in whose constituencies maybe we are collecting the money, I won't open my mouth and complain. Me, I'll complain. And that's why I'm complaining. As for national security budget and what they use it for, they will come and tell you all sort of, interesting, stories. I thought that he would have invited me for a discussion, but he goes to issue a statement and accuses me of politics. If asking you to account for that kind of money is politics, then I'm doing my job well, because my people are suffering. No water, no light, they sleep in curfew, no job for the youth, the roads are bad, no health facilities. Almost half of the people in Bawku, I can tell you, have to find a way of sending their children out to school in other parts of the country. There are some parts of Bawku you go to, and 30-40% of the residents have vacated their houses. Ask the soldiers, they'll tell you. They have left. They are in Bolga, Zwarungu, Tamale, Techiman, Kumasi, Accra, Kaswa, all those places are now full of my people. And you are collecting 6 million every month. When I open my mouth, you say that I'm politicizing it. I'm just stating the facts. And thank God you haven't denied the facts. So you should come and rather explain to us, really, how you are spending 6 million on food rations, you are spending 6 million on, what do they call it?
Operations.
On operations.
Okay.
Finally,
you
yourself admit that the situation has calmed down and etc. Why are you still collecting 6 million every month? Okay. In the heat of the affairs, if you needed emergency money to do serious work, fine. But for the past several months, the place has been very calm, So why are you still collecting 6 million every month?
You think, and when I say you, I mean you as MP, you as a Kusasi, you as NDC. You think that the solution to the Bawku problem is creating a new region out of Upper East?
We have argued that creating a new region would help because it will bring some special focus and attention on that geographical space, which, covers Zebila, that's Bawku West constituency, Binduri district, Binduri constituency, Bawku Central, Bawku municipality, Pusga district, Tempane district, Garo district. These are 6 districts. And the conflict has tended to engulf the whole area. And so we want special focus. We see the connection between poverty and conflict. We see the serious security challenge. And so we believe also, and also infrastructure, we believe that if we were carved out of the Upper East and given our own governance institutions with a special focus on, a security architecture that consolidates and ensures lasting peace. And all these monies would have been put into investments in the area of roads, trade and industry, because Bawku is a major commercial place. But the conflict has collapsed the whole place. So for me, as a region carved out will help us to really focus on this area and then bring lasting peace and development that will reinforce the peace. So that is our argument, and I'm happy to
Honorable,
that all the two political parties have come to accept it. John Dramani Mahama mentioned it. So there's consensus on that, and we
who in MPP has accepted this?
Oh, Baumia went to the Bokunabas Palace, and when they mentioned it, he didn't object.
But he didn't say yes.
Oh, he didn't object either.
No, but silence in this instance does not mean consent.
I've had MPP parliamentary candidates call me and express support that if we push the agenda, they will support.
Let me just be sure. The only seat MPP has in Upper East is Binduri.
PCs, not MPP.
I know. I'm just asking a question. I said the only seat MPP has in Upper East is Binduri. Was the Binduri MP a signatory to your letter?
No, I was the signatory.
I mean, no, I've seen that you did it on behalf of 6 others. I'm asking if the Binduri MP supports your position.
Well, he hasn't publicly indicated whether he supports or not.
I just wanted to be sure. Next question.
He has not publicly indicated.
When we had the problem in Dagbang, the solution was not that we should create a region for Dagbang. We found other solutions, and today there's peace in Dagbang. Why should the creation of a region in Upper East be the solution? And I'm asking this considering a number of things. The size of Upper East region, physically, and even in terms of population, does it really need to be split even further? And the fact that you have created a new region, then what happens? Solution all of a sudden? How? Because the conflict in Bawku is between...
Before you go further.
Okay.
Before you go further, how many districts are in Western North? How many districts are in Bono? How many districts are in Ahafo? How many districts are in Northeast? And how many districts are in Savannah? How many are in Oti? The area I'm talking about has 6 districts. Compare 6 districts to all these other areas. But our actual grounds are not even related to land size. Even though I know that the process of creating a region has so many considerations, one of which would be land size. But I'm saying that even then, compared to existing regions, and you will see that we don't, fare badly in terms of that. Take the population and compare the population of that area, the 6 districts, to the other regions, and you will see. So in that area, I don't think we fare badly. But that is not really our concern. Our real issue is how to create a government, a regional government, that knows that this is the problem of this area that started as far back as Nkrumah's time. And government after government after government has been struggling with it, and it has been difficult to surmount. And so one of the things that we're going to do is to create a region around there and create an architecture that will effectively contain this problem. It is our major consideration, not because, other people have regions and we are also demanding a region. No, we have a special case. That's a problem. And we believe that having a region will help us. So I can assure you that the situation of Gabon and the nature of the issues in Gabon are not exactly the same as the situation in Bawku and the nature of the issues in Bawku. And so Gabon could have been solved using a different approach, and we're happy that it has been solved. It doesn't mean that it is the same approach that will solve the problem of Bawku. So listen to those of us on the ground. For instance, I told the National Security Minister, before guns were fired in Bawku, that shut those radio stations down, because I know where the problem was coming from. And my own brother has a radio station. And they said, but your brother has a radio station. I said, yes, I had my brother's radio station and shut the 2 of them down. I don't care. Shut my brother's own down and shut the other one down. Because those 2 stations are causing trouble. I mean, that one station is causing trouble. I never hit it consistently. I said on air that station is causing trouble. The minister refused. 2 years after the violence that has killed all the numbers that he is now mentioning as a justification for taking 6 million every month. 2 years after that, his own regional security council said, you have to shut the radio stations down. The municipal security council reported to him that you have to shut the radio stations down. Then he now shuts the radio stations down. Then he sees that the place is calm. If you had listened to me 2 years ago and followed my advice, because I am the MP, I'm on the ground, both sides are my people. My mother is not pushy, my father is Kosasi. I talk to them every day, each side. I know how these people feel, I know how these other people feel. What they are doing, I know. What these other people are doing, I know. On that basis, I advise you, do this, don't do that. You won't listen. And every month you go and collect 6 million Ghana cedis.
Let's leave it here. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Honorable Mahama Ayariga there. He is NDC Member of Parliament for Bawku Central, an advocate for a new region to be created in Upper East, but also taking on the Ministry for National Security for spending 6 million Ghana cedis every month on keeping the peace in Bawku. He says that money is budgeted all right, but does not get to the constituency or the township. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We're coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We'll return with more. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, now what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind said, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open it.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
The go.
Joe Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Choboy! We have a new leader in town. OBRNT. Amanfo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal Pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Let's talk about labor and in the education sector. You do know that teachers are the colleges of education. Now, these colleges of education used to be called teacher training colleges. They are on strike. They've been on strike for close to 2 months now over some challenges that they have, which challenges they believe government should deal with, which government has failed to deal with. Now, the schools have been without teachers. The students have been asking for the schools to be closed down. The teachers themselves who are on strike are saying the schools should be closed down because nothing really is happening. But the people who preside over the schools, the principals of the schools, have issued a statement tonight asking for CTAC to call off the strike. Now, I don't know if this is based on a legal reason or they are simply begging them. Let's speak to the General Secretary of PRINCOF, that's the National Conference of Principals of Colleges of Education, Ghana. The name is Dr. Samuel Adai Boatin, his General Secretary. Mr. Secretary, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Umaru.
So your teachers are on strike. You're asking them to come back to the classroom. Are you begging them or instructing them or telling them that what they are doing is unlawful? Which route are you using?
Okay, so good evening once again, Umaru, and let me say good evening to your listeners. Of course, it is not in our right to instruct them to come to the classroom if they are on an industrial strike. So if you read the letter we wrote, we said it's an appeal, brink of appeal to CITAC. So we are begging them to come back for the sake of the academic calendar and for the sake of the students. We don't have that power to instruct them to come back to class. We are not close to those powers now.
So what approach are you using then in this call that you're making?
We have been in constant engagement with the leadership, and we have written to them, hoping that the letter, or let's say the appeal we have made, would calm them down and appeal to them to come back. I have seen a reply that they have sent, of course, declining to come back as we have proposed. And if for anything, I think that the next line of action is to continue to engage with the leadership until we are able to reach some level of understanding.
So you are simply asking them to come back, but have you not considered their position? They say that there is some money due them, or there's some agreement due them, which agreement is not being given to them. For that reason, they have to stay out of the classroom. Have you considered their side of the story too?
Of course, Omaru. We are with them, so we know the story, we know what they are going through, or should I say, we know what we are all going through. Some of the issues, as far as we know, are being addressed as we speak. And in as much as there is evidence to show that they are being addressed, we believe that it's a process. So once the process has started, they could come back to class while the process continues until it comes to an amicable end. For instance, the book and research top-up that is due them, MOA, which was signed, said that it should be paid latest by August 9th. We have information that the monies have even been released by a controller, and we are sure that by Friday, the monies would have hit their members' accounts. So if that is anything to go by, then the question I will ask myself is that why continue to stay at home? There is a request for some all-year-round data, because the allowance that had to be paid, when it got to Ministry of Finance said that our internal auditors must validate them. So the claims came back to the respective colleges, which have been validated and sent back. And so once these have been validated and sent back through the process, it will go to GTEC and then to Ministry of Finance for payment. We believe that it will be paid. There is the issue of migration of staff. And as we speak, staff are being migrated. I have been part of the exercise. So as far as we are concerned, all the issues are being handled. And for the sake, like I said, for the sake of the students and for the sake of the academic calendar, once the issues are receiving attention, we want to plead with our tutors to come back to class.
In the meantime, what's happening on the various campuses?
In terms of students?
In terms of
staff,
students and academic activities?
Yes, so initially they were supervising student project works and other activities. They were attending meetings, but currently all those things are not going on as we speak. So for students are around. Of course, some have gone back home, but some are around. And, we feed students. So we feed them. They go back. Those who go to the library to read, go and read. Some of them will do group studies. And some go back to sleep, if I should put it that way. But there is no serious academic work ongoing at the moment.
Why don't you temporarily ask them to go home, or that's outside your ambit?
Yes, please. We have been made to understand that that's outside our ambit, as I said. You see, if you check our statutes very well, we don't have that provision there that after the conventional 21 days, students be made to go home. It is not there. Our councils and our principals have not been clothed with that power. So it means that all things being equal, the minister will have to come in. And for the ministry, they are doing all they can to resolve. Each week, they are of the hope that the tutors issues are being dealt with. So as we talk to them, they are coming back. Each week, they are of that hope. And because of that hope, they are not able to close down the colleges as it may be.
While you speak to the teachers and ask them to return or beg them to return, what's your message to your teacher trainees across the country who are listening to you tonight? What should they do?
Our teacher trainees, we are asking them to remain calm. I have heard that it is being peddled around that immediately they come back to school, they are going to write exams and so on. I want to tell them that assertion cannot be true, because in the tertiary sector, you need to attend lectures for some number of hours, for some number of weeks before you are even eligible to be examined. And once they have not met that requirement, nobody is going to examine them with respect to what they have not been taught. So we will continue to urge them to remain calm, continue to study. Those who are doing their project work can continue to do the project work. They should do group studies. We have information that sometimes a few of them are taught by some friends. They should keep doing those things, and let's all pray that within this week or probably by next week, our tutors would reconsider and come back.
Thank you for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you very much.
That's Dr. Samuel Adai-Boateng. He's General Secretary of the National Conference of Principals of Colleges of Education, Ghana, PRINCOF. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. And what else do we have?
Chief of Staff Firma Osei Opare says complaints about the size of government must necessitate steps to reduce the number of persons employed by the public sector. This, she believes, can be done through supporting micro, small and medium-sized entrepreneurs to champion the employment of Ghanaians. She made this known while awarding a 15 million Ghana cedi grant for some 30,000 business owners who have been trained by the Ghana Enterprise Agency under the U-Start program.
The public sector cannot, and in fact should not, be the main employer. It can never be. And in fact, if people complain that government is too big, it means that the public sector should shrink. Therefore, our effort is to support, and in fact, if people complain that government is too big, it means that the public sector should shrink. Therefore, our effort is to support the growth of the micro, small, and medium enterprises who will create the needed jobs and the needed skills. And with the youth who are so versatile in terms of even the digitalized world, what we provide, you can multiply it in many, many ways by, accessing information from across the world, across many places, and knowing what else you can add to the training you have received in order to let your businesses grow.
Chief of Staff Firma Osei Opare there. A former ambassador to the United States of America under the John Evans Atta Mills government, Daniel Ohina-Jekum, has described the Ajapadiya document as a clear manifestation of state capture. The document, which alleges a scheme by some individuals within the New Patriotic Party to annex state assets for themselves, has been vehemently rubbished by President Akufo-Addo and the Ochehene Osagyefo-Amoatia Oferi-Penyi. Despite these denials, some political actors, including former President John Dramani Mahama, still hold the view that the content in the document is already playing out. Speaking at a news conference in Kumasi, Ohina-Jekum said the document is authentic, decrying its ability to place the nation's wealth in the hands of a select few.
This document is authentic and it represents a very diabolical scheme by a small group of individuals from Chibi. Let me explain. My understanding, when people talk about the Achim Mafia, I think that expression is wrong. It is not an Achim Mafia. To be more accurate, I would argue that it is Chibi Mafia.
You heard a former ambassador to the United States of America under the John Evans Atta Mills's government, Daniel Ohene Ajekum. Now, the businessman the state was prosecuting in the ambulance trial case, Richard Jakpa, has said the opposition National Democratic Congress will no longer go to court to challenge election results. Mr. Jakpa, who was recently acquitted and discharged by the Court of Appeal, together with Minority Leader Dr. Kaisel Atto-Forson, was spotted with NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama during his campaign tour of the Upper East region. Mr. Jakpa assured that the opposition party is leaving no stone unturned security-wise as far as the December 2024 polls are concerned. Mr. Jakpa indicated that he is supporting his party to ensure they do not resort to the courts after declaration of the election results.
I have been acquitted and discharged, so it's dead. Now I'm doing what is required of me. My party security needs to be beefed up. JDM needs to have his security beefed up. We are winning this election, so anything that we need to do, sacrifice, we need to sacrifice to make sure that Ghanaians' votes are protected. JDM is alive to rule this country. I'm just here doing what is required of me. That's what I'm doing. I'm not from this constituency, but I'm a northerner. I'm from the north. So I understand my people very well. And we are just here. We are all sacrificing. We are all sacrificing. It's not a one-man's job. He alone as JDM cannot do it all.
Richard Jakpa is the businessman in the ambulance trial case involving the minority leader, Dr. Kaisel Atto-Forson. Now, political science lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Jonathan Asante, has called on the New Patriotic Party and the Dr. Bawumia campaign team to heed to the calls made by the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Ejapon, on the current hardships in the country. While speaking at the launch of the NPP Ablekuma South constituency election campaign, Kennedy Ejapon urged the party to acknowledge the current economic woes during its campaign as a means to regain the trust of Guineans ahead of the 2024 general elections. Speaking to City News, Dr. Jonathan Asante said the Asin Central MP's comments reflect the position of the grassroots and must not be taken lightly.
This is the second call on Dr. Bawumia, for example, to admit to this. The first advice was given to Dr. Bawumia, but Otum for himself. I've said on air to Otum for the Venerable King that Dr. Bawumia will not hearken to this. He will not. Because if you remember, I think late 2022, when the dollar, was eating up the city in a merciless manner, many were those who called on Dr. Bawumia to come and speak. When he was in a position, he was solving the problem using speeches. Now, when he got the opportunity to meet the youth of MPP at Kaswa, Dr. Bawumia outlined 4 reasons why the economy was in that doldrum. 1 was the COVID. 2 was Russian invasion of Ukraine. The other 2 was excess energy and then the banking sector, which they attributed that to be something coming from the NDC. So his style has not been to admit. And for me, it's a mark of arrogance. For Dr. Bawumia's style to admit will mean that it is a total humiliation of his ego. And that is the more reason why he will not.
Dr. Jonathan Asante is a political science lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. The coalition of students of the schools of hygiene wants government to pay 2 years trainee allowance arrears owed since January 2023, including a full year for the 2021 whole School of Hygiene certificate batch. The students who raised concerns about potential long-term unemployment post-training say engagements with the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources have been futile due to a lack of financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance. According to the coalition's General Secretary Emmanuel Owuku, his colleagues are facing challenges and called for posting for batches yet to be posted. Members of the coalition are, however, threatening to embark on a demonstration if their demands are not met.
Tempers are rising among School of Hygiene trainees across country, and the urge to resort to a massive demonstration at the presidency and the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources is getting to its peak by the days. School of Hygiene trainees are also health trainees, and we remain constitutionally eligible to receive our trainee allowances. But it is seeming stakeholders are just using technicalities to push our people off the scheme of training allowance. We haven't received a penny for 2 years now, and some have even completed without a CD as training allowances. Fear and panic is also being spread among trainees due to the fear of unemployment for up to 4 years after training. As at now, we have the badges of 2021, 2022, 2023, and the 2024 batch who completed just a month ago, all at home. And we aim as a country to solve the numerous sanitation challenges in our country. Yet, the number of these badges combined is not even up to 3,000. We are crying for the payment of 2-year allowances and that of our whole 2021 certificate badge, which has been in arrears since, together with postings for the 4 badges at home.
That was the General Secretary for the Coalition of Students of the Schools of Hygiene, Emmanuel Ewuku.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Ino Safo. Let's settle for the details. The Bank of Ghana has imposed sanctions on 47 individuals and 245 business entities for issuing dud checks. A statement from the BOG on August 6, 2024 said the affected bank customers issued dud checks on at least 3 occasions between January 2022 and January 2024, despite warnings about the consequences of their actions. The central bank also noted the offenders are accordingly banned from issuing checks in Ghana for 3 years, effective 28 June 2024, adding that the offenders will also not be able to access new credit facilities from the banking system for 3 years. The statement explained that the above sanctions are without prejudice to any legal proceedings that may be taken against the offenders under Ghana's criminal code. The central bank also cautioned the public to desist from issuing dud checks as the offence has both legal and regulatory consequences. Away from that, the General Agricultural Workers Union is calling on the government to demonstrate more commitment towards ensuring the success of its flagship program, the Planting for Food and Jobs program. The group has registered its displeasure over the manner in which the second phase of the Planting for Food and Jobs program has been implemented, lamenting the lack of timely release of input to farmers. Edward Karawe is General Secretary of GAO, and he has been speaking with City Business News.
The Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2 has not even begun. In fact, if you go on the ground, it's not there. Farmers are not receiving inputs. Now that they are registering farmers, the southern part of the country production is now harvesting. The northern part has begun. And you are now registering farmers. When are you going to finish registering them, go through the bureaucracy, and then to now get them inputs? So certainly for 2024, the Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2 has not begun. It has no effect at all. If anything at all, they should use the 2024 as the preparatory year so that they can launch it properly in 2025.
Edward Karawe is General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union. Prices of oil palm fresh fruit bunches per ton has witnessed marginal increment, while that of raw rubber cup lumps has witnessed a reduction in prices for the month. The latest figures for the month of August are compared to that of July as published by the Tree Crop Development Authority. The following report has more.
In July, prices of oil palm fresh fruit bunches per ton was pegged at 1,291 Ghana cedi, while raw rubber cap lumps was pegged at 9 cedis 11 pesos. However, the month of August has seen oil palm fresh fruit bunches witness a 61 Ghana cedi increment in its price per ton, according to figures published by the Tree Crops Development Authority, the body established to regulate and develop in a sustainable environment the production, processing and trading of 6 street crops, including rubber and oil palm in Ghana. Currently, for the month of August, the price for oil palm fresh fruit bunches is 1,352 Ghana cedis per ton. The price for raw rubber cap lumps has meanwhile witnessed a decline for the month of August, with prices pegged at 8 cedis 78 pesos. This is compared to the July price of 9 cedis 11 pesos. Meanwhile, stakeholders in the value chain have been reacting to the development. While the Oil Palm Development Association has welcomed the price increment, it wants government to help secure lands for more cultivation of oil palm trees, as demand by processing companies is being outstripped by supply. Selim Kwame is Executive Secretary of the group, and he has been speaking with Citi Business News.
Land is available but not accessible. So if government can come in to earmark or put up land banks for oil palm processing of oil palm cultivation, I think it will go a long way to solve this problem of low raw materials in the system.
Selim Kwame is Executive Secretary of the Oil Palm Development Association, and in that report. Now, the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research at the University of Ghana has criticized the government for the lack of impacts that the country's economic growth in the first half of the year has had on the lives of ordinary Ghanaians. This is sourced from a report by ISER assessing the recently presented 2024 Media Budget Review.
The report assessed the economic growth of the past 6 months and referenced the mid-year budget, which indicated that overall real GDP growth was 4.7% for the first quarter of 2024, surpassing the revised annual target of 3.1%. Non-oil real GDP growth was 3.3% compared to 3.8% in 2023. The report also noted that due to improvement in macroeconomic indicators, both growth rates have been revised upwards. The overall GDP growth rate was revised from 2.8% to 3.1%, and the non-oil GDP growth rate was adjusted from 2.1% to 2.8%. For the first quarter of 2024, the industrial sector led with a growth rate of 6.8%. Despite these positive economic indicators, the report highlighted anecdotal evidence from Afrobarometer surveys in the first quarter of 2024, which shows increasing hardships due to rising food prices, soaring transportation fares, and higher costs for cement and fuel. ISE described the economic figures as bittersweet, noting that the growth has not significantly improved the economic situation for many Ghanaians. Here is the director of ISE, Professor Peter Korte, shedding further light on the report.
Basically saw that growth has increased. We saw at least some improvement in GDP growth beyond the target. However, we've also seen inflation, we've also seen some level of inflation, significant levels of inflation, and exchange rate volatility or depreciation. These two indicators can lead to cost of living deteriorating, in other words, leading to high cost of living, which would also affect people's livelihood.
You heard the director of ISA, Professor Peter Korte, ending that report filed by Daniel Ujurumensa. Now, Fitch Solutions is forecasting a significant move by the Bank of Ghana to slash its benchmark policy rate by 200 basis points, bringing it down to 27% by the end of 2024. This comes after the BOG's decision to maintain the rate at 29% during the July 26 MPC meeting. Looking ahead, Fitch Solutions anticipates a further 7% reduction in the policy rate in 2025. There's more in the following Business Desk report.
The research division of Fitch Ratings projects that the Bank of Ghana will decrease the policy rate to 20% by the end of 2025. According to the UK-based firm, this reduction will be influenced by an anticipated average inflation rate of 16.2% in 2025, down from a projected 22.1% in 2024 due to improvement in Ghana's foreign exchange market. Fitch Solutions indicated that the risks to its policy rate forecast are skewed to the upside, noting that the extended debt restructuring negotiations could dampen investor confidence and pressure the cedi. Meanwhile, Fitch Solutions predict a 2% policy rate cut in November during the BOG's final MPC press briefing for the year, bringing the policy rates down to 27%. At the last MPC meeting on July 26, central bank policymakers chose to keep the rate at 29%, citing uncertainty regarding the inflation part due to certain exchange rate weakness and rising fuel and utility prices. For the upcoming MPC press briefing by BOG in September, Fitch Solution anticipates that the central bank will leave the policy rate unchanged due to ongoing price pressures and robust economic activity, reducing the need for a more accommodative monetary policy stance.
That was a business desk report, and that's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Enu Safo. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I don't change my car. It be the same right. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so. This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mindset be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there. Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside? I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small. Go. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sandama. Tonight on Point Blank, the minority side in Parliament, led by the Northern Member of Parliament, Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa, is accusing the government of inflating the cost of the ambulances that were brought for the One Constituency, One Ambulance project. It says that more than they were supposed to cost. For that on Point Blank in a bit. But before then, there's some breaking news story coming through from the northern region, specifically in Mion, that there's a clash there. There are gunshots in the air in the Mion area of the northern region. Al-Hassan Abukari is the assembly member for the Mion electoral area. He's joined us on the line. Al-Hassan, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
No, thank you very much.
What's happening in Mion?
Currently, there is some Come has returned to our place. But in the morning, it was very difficult for you to even pass from Yindi to Tamale because of the land dispute between Unkumbes and Dagumbes. But the issue is very simple. But because of illiteracy or due to some issues, because the land is the regent of Mion is the owner of that land. So some Kukumba people came to him and then he gave them the land to settle as to be. They are there and they are farming there at the same time. So there is a particular land near to their place. And the resident said he wants to use it for developmental purpose. So he said he wants to see if they can allow him so that he will use that land for the purpose that he wants to do some developmental thing around that area. And the people said they will not allow him because they are farming there. And when you check there, nobody is farming. It's just an idle land. So yesterday the regent said he wants to clear the land today so that he will bring those who want to use the land for that developmental project to come, so that he will bring them to come and clear it. So this morning he brought a bulldozer to that land, and when they started clearing the land, the people came and said they will not allow them to clear the land. So that brought that conflict. But as of now, everything has been calm. So we are we want to appeal to the security agents to come to that area and help us to restore peace, because we need peace.
What is the security situation? Do you have police deployment or soldiers in the community as we speak?
Currently, as we speak, there is no security men in the ground. Currently, we don't have security men.
Okay. Did anybody lose their life as a result?
Yes, I can confirm to you that one person lost his life.
Sorry, Alasan, I can't hear you. Say that again.
Yeah, one person has lost his life.
And what has happened? And do we know who that person is and who killed them?
Yeah, for now, we are unable to identify the person because he's an old man. So for now, they have sent the body to Yendi Minister Hospital. And several people also injured.
Do we know who killed this person and what could have caused it?
It will be difficult to identify the one who killed the person. So for now, we can't identify the person who killed him.
Tonight, what do you feel safe tonight in your community?
For tonight, no, we don't feel safe. So that is why I'm appealing to the security agency to come to our aid so that they can restore peace for us. Because currently the tension is too much, and we need the security agents to come and restore the peace for us.
Has any property been destroyed? We are hearing motorbikes were burnt.
Yes, please. It's about 2 motorbikes that were burned on the process.
Have you raised this with your district chief executive? I believe that will be your immediate boss in terms of security in the area.
For now, I'm trying to speak to him, and his line is not going through. And I believe he's also trying to see if they can restore the peace that we all want to enjoy.
What about Tamale? Have you been able to escalate it to Tamale, the regional capital?
No, please. It's only the presiding member that I've spoken to, and he assured me that they will call Tamale so that they will give us security to protect us here.
Very well. Thank you so much, and we pray for the best in your area.
Thank you very much.
That's Alhassan Abukari. He's assembly member for the Mion electoral area in the northern region. Disturbances there, and he's calling on the police and other security agencies to come to the aid of the community. Parliament now. The Honourable Member of Parliament for Northern is Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. He's the chairman of the Government Assurances Committee of the House, the newly constituted committees of Parliament. Honourable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Hi, thank you, Umaru.
We have not finished discussing the issue of ambulances in the courts. You are raising a new issue of ambulances in Parliament. What's the matter?
Well, good evening to you and to all our distinguished listeners. So this matter relates to a $34.9 million ambulance spare parts deal. A few days before the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta left the Ministry of Finance, he approved this contract and further instructed the Contract Accountant General to release $10 million out of the $34.9 million. This $34.9 million, it is important to emphasize that there is no parliamentary approval for the release of this amount, which is a flagrant violation of Article 178 of the 1992 Constitution. The Constitution is very clear that without parliamentary approval, nobody can spend public funds. Now, you have a situation where on the 9th of February, the Contract Accountant General was instructed to commence work in processing the $10 million to a company known as Service Ghana Auto Group Limited. This is a discredited company if you read the 2022 performance audit into the National Ambulance Service. This is a company that has been indicted by the Auditor General, a company that has been asked to refund monies to government because it engages in over-invoicing, a company with a very shady track record, accepted these ambulances for servicing when they knew that they had not been incorporated, a company that does not have the capacity, does not have staff to carry out the servicing of the ambulances, and yet they will continue to service these ambulances using staff of the National Ambulance Service. It's a very damning report. And one is left shell-shocked that a company that has been so indicted after they have already received $115 million and there's been no value for money, according to the Auditor General's report. This same company, on the 9th of February, before Ken Ofori-Atta left on the 14th of February, will be given another $34.9 million contract. Now, if you look at the analysis of this $34.9 million, it means that for every ambulance, we are spending $113,000 on spare parts. When the Auditor General has discovered at page 24 of the Auditor General's report that the market value, the cost of these ambulances is $80,000. Now, the importation of these ambulances is another scandal on its own. My parliamentary oversight has led to a discovery that shows that the same characters, Stephen Okoro and his gang, who is a politically exposed person, very close to President Akufo-Addo, actually is President Akufo-Addo's son-in-law, is also a business partner of the Akufo-Addo daughters. I'm referring to Jankroma Akufo-Addo and Edwina Akufo-Addo. They have incorporated a number of companies, including SFO Initiatives Limited, another company known as Good Box Limited, and then another company called Good Grow Limited. So business partners, politically exposed person who has familial ties with the president. And this chap, when you look at the track record, they hurriedly put together these companies between April and September 2017. They have absolutely no track record, absolutely no expertise, and yet they were given a $54.3 million contract to import these ambulances. Now we know that they inflated the cost of the importation of these ambulances by over $29 million. We also now know that they did not have the expertise to even go into servicing of these ambulances to have post-importation or post-procurement after-sales agreement. And yet they have been awarded this $34.9 million contract. And it will interest you to know, Umaru, that last week when the Honorable Health Minister appeared before our committee, the Assurances Committee, he conceded that they did not have parliamentary approval for this $34.9 million spare parts deal. So we now have a situation where a company without parliamentary approval is being engaged for this unconscionable transaction. Another clear case of constitutional violations, violations of our Procurement Act, violations of our criminal offences and other offences act, because we are talking about a company that engages in over-invoicing, which is clearly fraudulent, as the Auditor General has discovered. And this is a company that should have been blacklisted, that should have faced sanctions, and not another unconscionable award. So if you put all of these sweetheart deals together, we are talking about $108 million. So the first procurement of the ambulance is $54.3 million. Between 2020 and 2023, this company is engaged to service these ambulances. They have been paid 115 million cedis. And then this latest $34.9 million for spare parts. I mean, in a very, bizarre arrangement, spare parts more expensive than the actual value of the ambulance. So we are talking about $108 million. And it is really shocking that a government which was going after the honorable minority leader in that infamous persecution for 2.36 million euros, 2.3 million euros, will be engaged in this very, very sleazy $108 million ambulance scandal.
The question is, there are two issues here. Are you suggesting that in addition to the earlier issue you raised, Honorable, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you suggesting that aside the earlier issue you raised about the cost of spare parts, you are actually suggesting that the price of the vehicles themselves or the ambulances themselves as procured in 2019 was also inflated, and that's separate from the spare parts deal?
Absolutely. It has now emerged that the ambulances were brought in at a cost of $54.3 million. Now, the Auditor General has discovered, if you read page 24 of the performance audit, that a unit is $80,000. So $80,000 times 307, we should not have paid more than $25 million for these ambulances. And yet, we paid $54.3 million. Now, if you read Service Ghana Auto Group Limited's statement they issued last Thursday, they sought to claim that the consortium of companies they put together was paid, so each company was paid $133,000 per ambulance, even though that would still amount to unconscionable inflationary pricing. The intercepted payments, the payment vouchers that I now have in my possession, reveals that some of these companies were paid as much as $145,000. You don't believe that? $145,000. That means that we could basically have had 2 ambulances from that payment. So the spare parts deal is a separate scandal. These same guys, because they are politically exposed, they have familial ties with the president's family. You have a situation where they are engaged in this unconscionable inflationary pricing of over $29 million if you put all of that together. And then, Umaru, what is also so shocking is that even though the statement they put out last week says that there was a variation in what they were asked to supply, that is to supply 4x2 ambulance and no longer 4x4. The payment vouchers that I have in my possession, and I'll make copies available to you, they were actually paid for 4x4. The Ghanaian taxpayer was made to cough up this $54.3 million for 4x4 ambulances, a 316 CDI model, when what actually arrived is a much more inferior version, a 4x2 and a 315 CDI, not a 316 CDI. So we have been shortchanged. There was no value for money. So inflationary pricing, extremely inflated, and then even what we paid for is not actually what arrived. Totally shocking, Umaru.
Minister for Health appeared before your committee last week and spoke. The Honorable Dr. Okoboy. He gave some answers in relation to a statement he made that the Bank of Ghana has not made any such payments regarding the $34 million ambulance spare parts deal. I believe that was before your committee. I don't know if you were chairman as of that time. What do you make of that statement that he came to make?
Yes, he made a statement before my committee. I posed that question. Again, I am not convinced that payment has not been made because the documents I have in my possession, a copy of which I hold in my hands right now, you see a 23rd February 2024 release of $10 million. At the time, the exchange rate that was used, it amounts to 120.7 million Ghana cedis. And the Controller Accountant General releases those funds to Service Ghana Auto Group Limited, according to the documentation I have in my hands, which are giftness records, evidence of payment. Now, this is a health ministry which has a penchant for denying payment only to be exposed. You remember the Sputnik V $2.4 million scandal. They were insisting that they had not made any payments. When we finally broke the matter in Parliament, it emerged that indeed they had paid $2.4 million to those shonky sheikhs who had come here to impersonate, who had no links whatsoever with the Russian manufacturers. And yet, as we speak, our $2.4 million is gone. Same situation with National Cathedral. You recall the government said that they were not paying using our taxes. We discovered documents later that $58.1 million has been sunk into the world's most expensive pit. I don't have to remind you about the SkyTrain $2 million, which is gone. For Alugu, $12 million for no work done. A Japan, $12 million. I can go on and on. So this is a government that has a very terrible reputation. When they are caught in the act, they tell you, we haven't paid yet, no cause for alarm. And yet when you go into it, the money is gone. In any case, this $34.9 million commitment should not have arisen at all. It shouldn't have arisen at all. So when you really look at it, what we should be discussing is not even whether the company has had the money, whether it's hit the accounts or not. We now have an obligation on government, on you and I, on the taxpayer, when this obligation should not have arisen at all. There is no parliamentary approval. There is no line item in the Appropriation Act for a $34.9 million transaction in the name of spare parts. So all those ministers, health minister, finance minister, outgone, who are engaged in this commitment, committing Ghana and creating this liability, on what authority? Now they have also mentioned the chief of staff. There is a chief of staff who instructed them to do that. I mean, on what grounds? What was the legal basis? There is no parliamentary approval. So you shouldn't have created this obligation. And so these ministers must be told in very clear terms that we will not accept this continuous unconstitutional conduct. That is why at today's press conference, we are making 3 demands. One, we are calling on President Akufo-Addo to immediately stop this transaction. He can do this around the family dinner table because it's his daughters and their business partners who are the center of this. Number two, we want him to instruct the chief of staff to stop piling pressure on the ministers of health and finance to make this payment when she knows that there is no parliamentary approval for this payment. And then number three, we are urging the Office of the Special Prosecutor to expedite investigations and prosecutions into this $108 million putrefying scandal.
Very well. Thank you so much. We'll wait to see. In fact, we've been trying to get information from the government side. We've not been successful. When we do, we share it with our listeners. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
You're most welcome, Omaro. That's
Honorable Samuel Kujetu Ablakwa. He's the chairman of the Assurances Committee of Parliament, and he's MP for North Town. That's how we end tonight's edition of Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. I did this with Eno Safo. Production by Kobna Wilson and Bevlin Landon. The technical support from Emmanuel Lati. Edwin Kwakofi helped us with new media. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening and have a good night.